These highlights are brought to you by TPG Federal Credit Union. We're not a bank. We're better.
Good crowd on hand for the Arlington John Jay sequel. Arlington won Monday's match 2-0, and Jay came out with a higher sense of urgency and ready to get physical. No score towards the end of the first half. Jay and the Road Blues. Mike Chardulo couldn't get this one by Ryan Wilson. Chardulo carried that one with him all the way through halftime. Vinny Colantuono also had something to think about at halftime as Harrison Kaplan corrals this offering. The game stayed physical as Andrew Povil and Chardulo pushed and pulled. No score through the first half. But in the second half, here comes Arlington. Frankie Lukovic sends this one ahead to Dylan Ashawn, but Kaplan stops the shot at point-blank range. He got plenty of that in Monday's game, and he was getting another helping today. But Jay's defense was much better in the sequel than the original, and Matt Oliveira offers some help against the ever-dangerous Colantuono. Max Giancarlo centers the ball and tries an approach with finesse. Kaplan was high and low and on the go for another denial. And then, this happened. Tom Dillman dribbles it up and feeds to the foot of Chardulo, who screws this one to the top corner. Mike Chardulo just did what no one else has been able to do in 9 games against Arlington. He scored a goal, and it turned out to be the game winner. It's rare that a sequel is better than the original, but this one had an Oscar-winning performance by Mike Chardulo. His lone goal stands as John Jay hands Arlington its first loss of the season, 1-0 the final.
Well, let's talk about this one. What was different between this game and a game a few days ago?
Well, we realized that we've lost in the last 4 years, and we weren't going to take it anymore, so we had enough, and this was our chance. Play on turf, open up the field, and we took our opportunity.
It looked to me like you guys were playing with a lot more sense of urgency, a lot more physicality. Was that part of the game plan?
Yes, it was. We realized we just weren't giving enough heart in the last game, and for some of our seniors, this is our last time playing them here, so we just had to step it up and play for each other.
But talk me through the goal.
Between this and last game, we've only shot 5 times maybe, so I realized when I ran up on a play, it was my first shot of the game, and I saw I had room, so I took it and went in the back of the net.
Tell me how that felt.
It felt amazing. My best goal for varsity so far, and doing it for these guys. Feels great.
How is it playing? 3 high-pressure games in the stretch of a week. You had Arlington, then you had Ketchum, then you have Arlington again.
It's great. I love it. I love it. I love the pressure. It's always a very tough game when you're playing Arlington and a very tough game when you're playing Ketchum at John Jay, because the Jay Arlington and Jay Ketchum games are such big rivalries. But to play one on Monday, one on Tuesday, and one on Thursday, that just has to be very difficult for the guys. I know it is for the coaching staff.
Yeah, and you talk about confidence. What do you think it does for the team's confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I think at halftime we believed. I think at halftime we said, hey, listen, I don't think we had the better of the play, but we were certainly even with them. And I said, hey, listen, if we could play with them, let's step it up just a tiny bit in the second half. And I tell you, Mike was really disappointed that he missed his opportunity in the first half, and it was a little emotional in the halftime huddle. Couldn't have been happier for him to hit an amazing shot, and then for Harrison Kaplan to come, before that, for Harrison Kaplan to come up with a huge save. So, those 2 players just coming up huge for us today.
Well, Craig, that was a great game on both sides. Tough loss, but do you feel almost the pressure's off you guys now?
Yeah, it's always tough trying to stay undefeated, and as you go. And that's what I talk to the boys about. It's if you're going to take a loss, let's do it now. Well, last year we took the loss and ended our season early. So it's something you can learn from. Give Jay a lot of credit today. They played a real nice match. Defensively, they were much more compact, much more organized than they were the other day. They got numbers behind the ball. We kind of played a lot of balls into them, just like they did to us the other day. So I got to give a lot of credit to them because they came in and played a real nice match.
You know this team better than anybody. We talk about character and, coming back from a loss, resiliency, all that stuff. Are you anxious to see how they're going to respond, or do you know how they're going to respond?
I think I know how they're going to respond because they don't like that feeling. And so for them to come out, a little slow, because I felt we came out a little slow today. We didn't come out with that fire and energy like we had the other day. And they're high school kids, it's tough to generate that match in and match out. But we picked that up, and they're going to learn from it, and we'll come out fired up against Ketchum.